Thanks for joining us on this week's edition of Cronkite Sports Live. On this day, Andrew, 54 years ago, Michael Jordan was born in New York City. On this day, 21 years ago, I was just 56 days away from being born in New York City. And now, Andrew, I'm not claiming we're the same person. I'm not claiming we even have similar levels of basketball skills, but there's some connection there. Welcome into the debut episode of Nothing But Pylons. I'm your host, Gavin Schall, and on this show, we intend to cut all the fluff. No lacrosse, and no volleyball, an exorbitant amount of growth potential be damned. No esports. You know, there's that old stereotype with kickers that they never work the upper bodies, and Gonzalez proving once and for all that that is false. Third and final tweet, I wanted to get a little nostalgic. It's Alex's final show, potentially Jake's final show. So I stuck with the senior who's also getting nostalgic, Cassidy Pickrell, volleyball star, her final game, saying she wants to re-enroll in Arizona State under an assumed name. So I asked you guys, Jacob Garcia, Klex Apariello, or AA Apariello, would you guys go through with this plan? Cronkite Sports Live's continued coverage of Arizona State baseball. I'm Gavin Schall, alongside Arizona State baseball reporters Colton Dodson, Bobby Kraus, and Colton, we're going to start with you. We're going to talk Arizona State starting pitching. They were really good at the beginning of the season, then Edward Bueno got hurt, the competition picked up, they were just in Corvallis taking on the third-ranked team in the country in Oregon State. What do you make of the struggles of late, and how do they fix it? I wanted to take this time to talk about perseverance. It took me 3.5 years and 7 tries to get into this seat I'm in right now. At different points, I might have felt like I wasn't getting a fair shake, or even worse, that I wasn't living up to my own expectations. At those points in life, I wish I had known about the story of Torian Graham. Graham attended 5 high schools and 3 colleges before landing at ASU. He had to grow up with a dad who was in and out of his life and a mom who did her best to raise him while battling drug addiction. She passed away while Torian was still a teenager. Seeking that parental figure, Graham placed an enormous amount of trust in both Bobby Hurley and assistant coach Levi Watkins, committing to them both in Buffalo and again on the other side of the country in Tempe. The process going over 900 days without competitive basketball. In the heart of Pac-12 play, when Graham should probably just be getting into the swing of things, the sweet-shooting senior is instead the second leading scorer in the conference. Graham's story showcases the power of the human spirit and reiterates the important lesson: never lose perspective and always be appreciative of what you have. And that's simply the way it is. So we spend a lot of time talking about this ASU defense, but at a certain point it's a lost cause. They're the worst in the Pac-12, have been all season. What do they do on the offensive end? How do they break down the Cougars? Arizona State's women's basketball team strolled into Corvallis, Oregon last night, having won 15 games in a row. Now, no one was making Warriors comparisons, but Charlie Turner Thorne and company were feeling pretty good about themselves. Pretty good. Oregon State and sweet shooting senior Jamie Wisner put that noise to rest in a 67-44 romp. What went wrong? Well, that's a little bit above my pay grade. Fortunately, we have Hoops PhD Chaz Frazier in studio to break it all down. Now, Arizona State, a senior-laden group, they were playing the best basketball of their careers. Then they go into Corvallis, just get blown out. What happened? And let's roll number 2, that weird stick sport right here. Arizona State down by 1. That's a pocket pass. Zach Handy puts it away to tie up the game against San Diego State. But wait, still 15 seconds on the clock. Handy wins the face-off, doing his best Marshawn Lynch impersonation. He doesn't care about defenders. He's fueled by Skittles. Taste the rainbow. So what I'm hearing from you, Chaz, is that this was a little bit of Oregon State playing over their heads and Arizona State having their worst game in a couple of months. That being said, when a team has a 15-game winning streak, it has a tendency to cover up flaws that otherwise might be visible. I need you to make them visible.
Welcome into the Pac-12 digital stream. Gavin Schall alongside Troy Tauscher, bringing you all the action from the Arizona State Classic. Third place game coming up. It's Long Beach State taking on the Boston University Terriers. Long Beach State yesterday struggled with Florida's size. They couldn't really see past double teams. Boston, though, maybe has even bigger issues, Troy. They couldn't do anything against Arizona State yesterday.
Suns general manager Ryan McDonough said that the blame was more on himself than it even was on Hornacek, which raises the question, why wasn't Ryan McDonough fired too? This is the latest reminder that in the NBA, you're only as good as your talent. And that Jeff Hornacek was fired because after injuries, his team didn't have a lot of it. All right, so a group of starters that can't quite figure it out yet, and a group of relievers that I'm hearing there's a lot of talent there, but they haven't put it all together. Competition's only going to get tougher for Arizona State baseball. We'll see if they figure it out.